Hey everybody, welcome to the Morning Devo with Bo-O. Hey Paula, glad you're digging the tunes, man. I am too. And it is July 27th. We're going to be in Job chapter 12 today. And this is going to be Job's fourth speech. And it's going to be in response to Zophar, his buddy Zophar, the third buddy who chimed in. And we'll see what Job has to say about Zophar's reaction to him, Zophar's reaction to Job, that is. But anyway, glad you're liking the electronica music. I'm always into electronica music. I think it's super cool. Always enjoyed it. Really fun. And glad, Paula, you're into it. That's right. By the way, I'll be playing with my buddy Dave Robson. We're both going to take a little set up in Oracle at the Way of Bean. It's the Way of Bean coffee shop. It's going to be around the 6th of August, but I'll be just doing solo guitar. So I'll be doing some classical guitar and a little bit of electric progressive guitar too, but just solo. And then Davey Robson's going to do some stuff as well, probably sing as well. So that'll be very cool. So mark your calendars. I think it's August 26th. Did I say 22nd? I think it's 26th. Up at the Way of Bean, all the way up in Oracle. So yeah, anyway, you can mark that if you want to listen to some guitar playing anyway. But let's get into it. So this is chapter 12 of Job. Let's see what he says, right? Then Job spoke again. You people really know everything, don't you? And when you die, wisdom will die with you. Ooh, kind of neat. What we get here is a little bit of sarcasm, right? Oh, you guys got it all down. You guys know everything. You really, seems like all my friends, my three buddies, you guys have it all licked. You know exactly what's going on. You know exactly why I'm going through everything I'm going through. You seem to just equate it like an equation, like there's this quick fix to it. That if you just do this and this and this, and then this is going to be the result. And this is certainly how we go in our life, right? Everything is kind of that way. And don't we just buy into all the infomercials that are kind of like that? You get on this plan, this is going to happen. You do this, this is going to happen. But we know it's not always the case, right? We know that there's so many variables. It's just not necessarily that if you do this and you have this opportunity, this is actually going to happen. There's a lot of space in between, a lot of nuance, and who knows, right? But some people kind of look at someone's life and they just automatically think like, oh man, Job, this is the situation. And if you just do this and this and this, it's all gonna, it's gonna work out. This is what you got to do. And it's that easy peasy kind of idea. Job responds by saying, man, you guys got it all licked. When you die, wisdom's going to die with you. Now, I kind of like this in this way is like there's different ways to talk. It's not always just one way. And even in the Bible, we have sarcasm. We have things that are sarcastically said. Some people might think sarcasm has no place in our language, in the way we talk. But that's not really, I think, true. Biblically speaking, that is. Meaning we see it in the Bible. And this isn't the only place we see it. We see even in the New Testament, the writer Paul uses this kind of sarcasm when he's talking to people who think they know it all too, by the way. And Paul tends to address them, at times sarcastically. So it's not necessarily wrong when someone's being sarcastic. Maybe there's someone who just thinks they got it all licked. And someone responds sarcastically. You got it all licked, don't you? That might be very appropriate. So, I don't want to throw out all the sarcasm that the way of talking. Don't want to chuck it all, but want to be careful. What is my sarcasm like? Am I so sarcastic that I just tend to be, in a sense, cutting everybody? Meaning everything tends to be sarcastic and really just tends to rub people the wrong way. And remember, sarcasm is kind of like, it's saying something that and the meaning, you're kind of flipping something so that someone sees the real meaning that you're trying to get at. Right? So when Job says, when you die, wisdom will die with you, is he really saying wisdom's going to die with these people? The answer's no. But Job stresses that wisdom will die with you guys, knowing that that's not a true statement. But he's saying it to help see something that's the opposite, right? It's kind of the style of sarcasm. And again, there's a good way to use it, and there certainly can be a bad way to use it. God, give me discernment, right? A book of discernment, really discerning what we say and when we say it. Well, I know a few things myself, and you're no better than I am. Who doesn't know these things you've been saying? Yet my friends laugh at me, for I call on God and expect an answer. I am a just and blameless man, yet they laugh at me. So Job says, hey, I know a few things, and you're no better off than me. We're all guilty before the Lord. He's already kind of made that plea, right? That kind of proclamation. We're all sinners before this righteous God. Who can actually go into God's court and hang with him, kind of idea. And yet he says his friends laugh at him, right? And why? Because he expects God to answer. He's talking to God like God's going to respond, and his friends think that's kind of foolish. It's kind of cool. Am I expecting God to answer? Do I expect God to answer my prayer? Man, that's a challenging word this morning. And it's one that our pastor's been talking about in his messages, about the expectations. Do we really expect, to hear from God, for him to answer our prayers? Something maybe to contemplate today. Hey, God, let me come to you and really believe that you're able to answer my prayers. So he says, this is verse 5, people who are at ease mock those in trouble. So true, right? They give push to people who are stumbling. Wow. They give push to people who are stumbling. Someone seems like they're having difficult time. What do? Push it. I thought about that today, this morning. I was on my motorcycle ride, got up early, hit the road at around 4:50 a.m. The sun's starting to pop up over there. Beautiful, went up to Mammoth, and just a beautiful drive. But I was thinking about something, and this idea popped in my mind, that sometimes you want people to go through tough times so that you can feel right. Man, that sucks. What a horrible thought. I just thought when I was riding, like, dang, that's so jacked, right? Oh, I hope someone has a difficult time so that I can be right or justified. Man, what is wrong? What is wrong with me? Now I thought that and then committed my ways to the Lord at that point and said, God, man, I need to be corrected on that. That is so not right. That's not in love, But you might have thought that way too before. You've kind of pushed people who are stumbling. To make them fall over the cliff kind of thing, right? Gosh, mocking people who are in trouble. But robbers are left in peace, and those who provoke God live in safety. Yeah, meaning, but yet there's people who really aren't doing great, right? and that yet you leave him alone. The idea is that we don't judge very well, do we? Yeah, we tend to judge very unrighteously. How's my judgments today? Who am I judging? Why am I judging? My judging is preventing me maybe from doing something else that Jesus calls me to do. Maybe love my enemies. Maybe I can't love my enemies because I'm constantly judging my enemies. Just a thought, right? It says, verse 7, just ask the animals and they will teach you. Ask the birds of the sky and they will tell you. Speak to the earth and it will instruct you. Let the fish in the sea speak to you. For they all know that my disaster has come from the hand of the Lord. For the life of everything is in his hand, and the breath of every human being. This is great. Just as the birds and the sea creatures and the mammals all have their way about them, so humans got their way about them as well, right? And, we all have our breath. It's from God. And, God knows when the bird dies. The other day, an eagle swooped down on a big bird in our front yard and had it in its grips. The eagle had this bird in its grips. Claude did not let this thing go. God knows when the birds die. He knows when they live. And he knows when Job's going through tough times. And he knows when you're going through tough times. And when I'm going through tough times. Yeah, he knows that. He gives breath to every human being. The ear tests the words it hears, just as the mouth distinguishes between foods. Wisdom belongs to the age and understanding to the old. Hey, you're created in a certain way. There's certain things that are just the way they are. The ear hears, and the mouth distinguishes between foods. And so, wisdom belongs to the age and understanding to the old. And so wisdom tends to find itself in people who have lived longer, right? They tend to be more wise. Not always, but they tend to be wise. These natural kind of laws that are in the world. It says, but true wisdom and power are found in God. Yeah, people have more wisdom when they're older. They kind of gain a little bit of understanding about the world. But true wisdom, there is a true wisdom, and that is coming from God. Kind of interesting, distinct from just the worldly wisdom, right? It says, counsel and understanding are his. What he destroys cannot be rebuilt. When he puts someone in prison, there is no escape. If he holds back the rain, the earth becomes a desert. If he releases the waters, they flood like the earth. Wow. Pretty powerful God. Yes, strength and wisdom are his. Deliverers and deceivers and deceived are both in his power. Nothing thwarts God. He leads counselors away, stripped of good judgment. Wise judges become fools. He removes the royal robe of kings. They are led away with ropes around their waist. He leads priests away, stripped off status. He overthrows those with long years in power. He silences the trusted advisor and removes the insight of the elders. He pours disgrace upon princes and disarms the strong. He uncovers mysteries hidden in darkness. He brings light to the deepest gloom. He builds up nations and destroys them. He expands nations and abandons them. He strips kings of understanding and leaves them wandering in the pathless wasteland. They grope in the darkness without a light. He makes them stagger like drunkards. So just as God's in control of the animals, Job understands that God's in control of human beings, and God's will happen, just as it does with the birds, or the sea creatures, or the land creatures. And you get the idea that Job realizes that you can't really fight against, I guess, the Almighty. You can't really just go at him and think you're going to win. Though I think a lot of us try, certainly I have, And it's kind of interesting how you can mock God, you can say all you want about God, but you don't even think about who you're talking about. And Job kind of paints this picture of, you're talking about God, man. Like, God. And it's like, who are you? You know, what college did you go to? How much learning do you really have? What kind of degrees you got? What really are you knowledgeable in? How much knowledge do you think you really have that is acquired, that can be acquired in this life? So it blows my mind, right? You go on YouTube right now and you type in, against God or something, and you'll find all these, young people, right? Not the aged wise, but so much it's just a bunch of young people, right? That are all in their 20s, and they think they got like some understanding about God. Like, oh yeah, there's no God. That, what Christianity is, and what blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh man, it's like giant train wreck. We're all expressing our ignorance. Unreal. We're all just shining forth our lack. Even me. I'm no different. I can share what I'm reading, and just give you what it says. But if I try to pontificate on the nature of the divine, even the idea, the concept of the divine fizzles my brain, But yet, so many of us human beings make a clip, a video, talking about how there is no divine, there is no God. And how do I know that? Oh, because, I have a piece of paper from a school. Man, the school itself physically is a tiny speck, not even a speck. It's a tiny micro cell speck in a vast universe. The piece of paper that you get from college is simply made from probably a tree, and it has someone's name on it. You got some knowledge, but that's all we got. That's all we got is some understanding. Is it going to equate into wisdom? But yet, Job gives us an idea of ultimate wisdom by understanding the vastness of the deity. That just by talking about the deity makes us go, wow, that alone is greater than everything. God if he's the creator, he's all powerful, right? He knows everything. It's amazing. You go to a person who creates, someone who engineers, something, a lawnmower engine or something like that. And you go to the engineer who's created those parts, and they know about it. They know the schematic of it. They know the ins and outs of it. There's nothing I'm going to be able to tell the creator of that about what they made, because they made it. And yet, so many of us humans can boast that we know that there is no God. Wow. Mind blower. Yeah. And so Job says, no, wisdom is understanding what you lack, what you don't know, what you don't have control over, understanding your frailty. This is wisdom. And that's what we lack so much in our world, right? Is that humility that moves us to wisdom. To know, what we do have, but what we don't have as well. The lack. Good stuff to think about this morning, right? There's things that I do have and I'm grateful for. But there's still so much that I lack as well, and that I need. And so, it's it's a great response to Zophar, who thinks that he's got wisdom, when Zophar says, man, if only you prepared your heart and lifted up your hands to God in prayer, if you only you get rid of your sins, bro, everything's going to be great. And Job says, man, you don't really have wisdom. You know, what's happening to me is it's from the hand of God, and just as birds do their thing, and just as animals, you know, are subject to their, you know, to God as well, so we're subject to what comes from the Lord. And what can I do? It's not necessarily because of some sin I did. It's just simply because I'm a human being and I'm in the hands of the Creator. And is that awesome? Yeah. Can it be scary? Yeah, that can be. You know? Now Jesus has come to assure us that it's okay, that he's our daddy. And that he's our dad, and he's got, man, he knows us. And he tells us, Jesus says, don't let your heart be troubled. Man, you believe in my dad, you believe in God, believe also in me. Trust in me. You know, Jesus has come to reveal to us his dad, his father, and say, hey, my dad's cool. My dad loves you. You know, my dad's got a great place. I'm going to take you there. These kind of things. And Job is having to place himself under the hand of the Creator, not knowing everything that's going on, all the backstory of chapters 1 and 2. And that's what we got to do. We got to trust God. We've been revealed certain things from Jesus about the Father. We're going to have to trust that, you know. If not, we go our own way, right? And then we start making our own YouTube clips that are pretty interesting, right? Pretty boasting. So anyway, help us not to boast. Help us to truly find that wisdom and have that humility that leads us to that kind of wisdom, to knowing what we have and knowing what we don't. Thanking God for what we have, but also realizing that we have so much lack and that we need. We are people in need. So, a cool devotion. Love how Job responds. I always love how Job responds. And a little sarcasm too. So, hey, thanks for listening. And I just want to say hello. Let's see, Marsha's in the house. Michelle Carrillo, what's up? Oh my gosh, how you doing? Hope all's going well with you as well. It's awesome. And thanks for tuning in to the devotion. You know, if you know anybody else who's looking at just going through the Bible, learning the Bible a little bit, especially from a Gen Xer like myself, very culturally influenced by my world, you can have them check out these videos, right? Tomorrow we'll do Job chapter 13. See kind of what Job continues to say, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.